Slater hits ton before Notts take 8. Some dogged batting displays helped both Derbyshire and Notts to important draws last time out, but with East Midlands bragging rights on offer, both had all to play for at the Incora County Ground. There wouldn't be any Hasib Hamid heroics this time, well, not in the first innings anyway. He was out in the second over, caught behind off Rees. Duckett wasn't far behind him. He'd added 14 when Hudson Prentice found a way to remove him early. Slater and Clark were more productive. They found their feet quickly, first taking the side to 50, the mark reached with a no-ball 6, the rare sight of 8 runs added with one swing of the bat. Their partnership then followed, Notts now with something to build on after a difficult start, the third wicket pairing now worth 50. They were into the 90s before lunch and found their way into triple figures on the cusp of the interval. Slater followed that by picking up his 50, a ninth 4 got him there and the recovery was well on its way at the break, the score 113 for 2. Clark joined Slater on 50 after the resumption. His knock came off 69 balls. Impressive action at both ends for Notts. They were motoring, flying past 150, and it wasn't long before they had designs on reaching 200 midway through the session. That would have to wait though. With 2 runs worked into mid-wicket, Slater found his way to 100, a second consecutive ton after his diligent knock last week. He'd lose his partner to Aitchison though, Hussain with the catch behind the stumps to finally add a breakthrough to their early success. Lyndon James then fell to Hudson Prentice, out LBW for 1. And then Mullaney shouldered arms to one that nipped back from Hudson Prentice. He too was out LBW. Moores and Slater came together to guide their side to 200 and T, the score at the break 204 for 5. There would be a wicket after T, and it was a key one for Derbyshire. Slater out LBW off Critchley, the Centurion could do no more to help his side. But despite the loss of the wickets, Notts kept going and found themselves on the cusp of 250. They'd have to get there without Tom Moores though, he fell to Rees for 26. Liam Patterson-White had shown some defiance in his innings, making his way to 23 when he was out LBW to Aitchison. Fletcher followed 2 balls later, unable to do anything with a swinging ball other than feed the slip cordon. The innings was wrapped up in the next over. Broad aimed a big swipe down the ground but didn't connect, caught by Wood in the deep. Notts all out for 256. They would be disappointed with their return. Slater and Clark had done so well at the top of the order, but the loss of their opener saw the innings start to crumble, Hudson Prentice finishing with 4 for 36. Notts would find some joy of their own early in the Derbyshire innings. Broad found the edge and Rees was removed, caught behind for 11. Wood followed, Deploy sent him back, but he couldn't turn in time, out of his ground and run out by Luke Fletcher. They had their tails up, and before long, another big scalp. Madsen unable to get off the mark, another man out to Broad. Critchley strode out to take his side to 50, but he couldn't prevent the loss of another wicket. Patterson found Deploy's pads, and off he went, 11 runs added, and his side in a spot of bother. Once again it was down to Critchley to stop the rot. He and Hussain held firm, and they tried to build a partnership to shut up shop against their opponents. But they couldn't pull it off. Fletcher found Hussain's pads, and he'd have to go, 2 to his name. And the next wicket was the key one for Notts. Critchley edged Patterson through to Moores for 33, and Derbyshire were in deep trouble against their East Midlands neighbours. Fletcher had Scrimshaw in his next over, Moores with the catch behind the stumps to leave Derbyshire 7 down. And then there was another with his next ball. Hudson Prentice bowled, Fletcher on a hat-trick, and just 2 wickets left. Aitchison survived the next ball, no hat-trick for the big man, but he'd done some real damage. Derbyshire limped through to the close of play with the score 86 for 8.